Today we are at Seaworld and I bought the food festival pass for 10 items. So we did eat at Seaworld, and that's today's video. We did try to film this. We're laughing because Emmett is running. We're at the hotel. And we did try to film this at Seaworld, but they were playing like really good music in the background, which was kind of hard to hear us speak, and will eventually be demonetized on YouTube, so I have to edit that out. I still filmed so that you guys could see that we did eat the items, but we did get a punch card for 10 items. At the end of this video, I'll let you know if it was worth the punch card, and we'll talk about how we felt about each item that we ate. So the first item that we tried was at the Caribbean market, and it was the fried conch fritters. What did you think about the conch fritters?
Surprisingly good. They came out. I didn't think they were gonna look and taste well. They looked like just crab cakes, which I'm not a big fan of, but they had a lot of flavor. Little textury with the conch itself, but the flavor was good and it was worth it.
Yeah, the flavor was good. The conch was tough to chew, but passable. But it was just tough. I'm not sure. This was our first time having conch, so not really sure if that's just typical in how conch should be, and it kind of is like a hard bite, or if it was just this specific conch. It was a little spicy as well. Not crazy spice. I could handle it, and I'm not too good with spice. But if you can't handle spice, or rather not, then you might want to skip this one. We did try to go to the American booth next, but the line was super long and was not moving. I don't know if they just ran out of certain items, so they had to wait. They did have like lobster mac and cheese and a brisket hot fritters that I really wanted to try. But I decided not to wait in that line and just move on to the next booth. So the next thing that we tried, there were Korean barbecue ribs and the poke bowl. Now, the Korean barbecue ribs had great flavor, but the ribs that we got were very fatty. So that's not my favorite. It's a texture thing for me, so I don't enjoy fatty ribs. But Mark, what did you think about the ribs?
I loved them. I thought that was my favorite thing of the whole run.
Yeah.
I think the piece I had was a little less fatty than yours because I finished yours. But the flavors, the seasoning was on point, and the meat itself was really, really good. I loved it. Definitely my favorite.
And I didn't try the poke bowl because I'm not a big fan of just raw fish. So I let Mark have that. What did you think about the poke bowl?
It was also really good. It was spicy. It was surprisingly spicy. Not like light your mouth on fire hot, but definitely worth at least a small warning. It's if you don't do spicy, it's not for you, but if you do, it's wonderful. I like raw fish too. I like sushi, and I like spice, so it was perfect for me. Very good.
And it was spicier than the conch fritters, right?
Oh yeah. Probably 3 or 4 times spicier than the conch fritters.
Right. He mentioned that if I probably would have eaten it, it probably would have ruined my palate for the rest of the night because it was very strong. And he compared it to a hot sauce that we know that I enjoy the flavor of, but I could not eat more than one bite because it was just way too spicy. So I definitely am glad that I didn't try to taste it, because it just wouldn't have been for me. The next one was the Mediterranean booth, and we had the lamb, the rack of lamb, which was really like just a slice of it. And it wasn't bad. The lamb was very soft and seasoned well. And it was served with these potatoes that if they were seasoned well, the potatoes, they would have been, the whole thing would have been really nice. But because the potatoes had no seasoning, and it had like some seasoning, but it had no salt, so we basically didn't finish the potatoes. And it was just one slice of lamb, which would have been nice if it was a bigger piece. I know that this is meant to be like sampling of the item, but it just left us wanting more.
The lamb was great. I liked it. I like a lot of food though, so it's hard to say something wasn't great. I do remember the potatoes being underwhelming. They seemed like they were seasoned with like black pepper and that's it. Which wasn't bad, but it could use some salt or maybe something different.
The next booth was the Brazilian booth, which I thought I was going to be really excited for. They had this steak, and it came with a, I believe it came with a churrasco sauce on top. It was a flank steak, so you cut it thin. The grilling flavor was really good on it. It was just so chewy, and you'll see in the video when we're eating it, like at one point Mark had to pull it out of my mouth.
They're not doing plastic.
Because it was just so chewy. I was like, I'm holding the camera, I'm holding the steak in the other hand, and I'm like, I can't rip it. And Mark like stretched, and I can't say that it was fatty, right?
No, not at all.
So I don't know what made it so tough and chewy.
Yeah.
So it was kind of strange.
It could have been the cut that they used.
Yeah, but it's flank, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
So I was just very confused. Maybe they didn't like clean the skin off correctly on it, and so that's what made it very like tough. The churrasco sauce was fine. I think the grilling flavor really helped this steak. It came with a side that when you look in the book, it doesn't say. Side. Artichoke? Doesn't say what the side is. And I couldn't decipher what it was.
Nope.
It smelled seafoody a little bit, right?
Yeah, but I couldn't tell
It
you
was
what
like a
it was.
salad of something, and when I ate it, I thought artichoke. So I might have to look it up to see, but it wasn't clear what it was. We were already away from the booth too to kind of ask like, what's this side? And the pamphlet didn't say. It just said, the pamphlet only said that it was a steak with churrasco sauce. It didn't specify what the side that, like the garnish that came with it, because the ribs, the Korean ribs came with coleslaw. The rack of lamb came with potatoes. So they all came with like a side accompaniment. But this one, it was hard to decipher what it was. And the next booth we went to was Mexico. And we had a shrimp tostada with also the barbacoa shredded tacos. Now for me, I think this booth did it for me. I think my favorite was the barbacoa tacos. It was well seasoned. Surprisingly, this whole festival we're kind of wanting salt, and this is the first time that I have to say that maybe the shells were over seasoned, a little bit too salty, because the meat was seasoned well. So if I think that if the beef hadn't been seasoned so well, over salting the shell would have been great, but because it was seasoned well, over salting the shell was a little much.
Yeah, I agree. The tacos, I mean, they were good. They were what you'd expect if you get like street tacos off like a taco truck. The shell was a little over salted, but I mean, it wasn't terrible.
No.
It kind of made up for the lack of salt on the previous couple of plates, to be honest with you. I kind of wish we had them both at the same time so we could go back and forth. But I mean, it was good. They were good.
Yeah, and same. The shrimp tostada was good, but it just needed some salt.
Yeah, there's no flavoring really at all.
No.
I got more flavor out of the tostada itself than I did out of the shrimp or anything else on it. So it was pretty bland, but I mean.
Yeah, you got like the aromatics. So there was lime, there was cilantro, there was onion, and it just needed a little bit of salt to really pull it together. Because you could taste the shrimp, but it just was missing the salt. So I would have said that this would have been a win, the whole booth. But so far the barbacoa tacos are the only thing that really stood out for us. Then we decided we tried to go back to the American booth. They were closed. So I don't know if they just were running out of food and that's why they were closed. You know, we got there around 9, so there's still an hour to the park. Other booths was still open. And, you know, they were already closed. So we didn't get to try them. We went back to the Caribbean one where we got the conch and the Contritters. And we decided, we had 3 punches left. We decided to get some drinks. And the Jamaican beef patty from the Caribbean market, because I had 3 punches left. I figured I'd just use them. So we got a rum puncher and the Jamaican beef patty that came with a guava ketchup. I didn't share the Jamaican beef patty because at this point Mark was pretty full. I had given most of the food to him on the other ones, just because I wasn't enjoying it the way he was enjoying it, so I just figured I'd let him have it. He was definitely a lot hungrier than I was too, so I was giving him a lot more of the other items. So yeah, we're almost done with this video, and look who needs all of our attention: our dog and our son. So the drinks were great, and we were walking out of the park with this. We were like leaving the park, and we looked at each other, we're like, this is a good way to end this experience, because we were kind of left a little bit lacking. So the drink was actually really good. It was like a frozen like slushy kind of thing, but you could taste the rum. It was a small cup, but it was a good flavor, right?
Yeah, I liked it. It wasn't a huge cup. It was like sample size, but it was a good size for a sample.
Yeah, and it was strong.
Yeah, it was strong. It was appropriate. Good flavor, not overwhelmingly sugary, and not too weak on the alcohol, but also like theme park appropriately strong as well. So they did a good job on that. I like it.
Now the Jamaican beef patty was great. I have no complaints. The only complaint I had was this ketchup business that they said was ketchup and guava. No guava taste in sight. No ketchup taste in sight, really. It was spicy. They didn't announce that to me. It tasted like a sweet, spicy, sloppy Joe sauce. If you could imagine what that tastes like. Which was very off-putting. And not accompanying, like it didn't go well with the Jamaican beef patty. I don't think. The patty didn't need it. It didn't need a sauce. The patty itself was really good. So, overall, I would say my top item was the tacos from Mexico. My top 3 would be the tacos from Mexico, number 1. The drink is number 2, the rum puncher from the Caribbean market, and Jamaican beef patty is the Jamaican beef patty from the Caribbean market is my number 3. Personally, I think that I wish the execution was a little better, because it might be because it's the end of the night, and so quality kind of goes down when people are tired and ready to pack up and go, or it's been sitting there for a little bit. I'm not sure, but the super fatty ribs, the flank steak that was super chewy, don't know why that was like that, the under seasoned items, I think that if they were well seasoned and well executed, I would say that the punch card is definitely worth it. But I do think that after the first 2 booths, that if we didn't have the punch card, I might have stopped going to the other booths.
Yeah.
Do you think? Like,
probably, yeah.
Because the first 2 booths weren't like mind blowing. It was the conch, the Korean ribs, and the poke bowl.
There were a lot of drinks in the beginning too.
Yeah, there's a lot of drink booths. So I think we probably might have eaten at Mexico just because we like the stuff there, but I don't think we would have stopped at the Mediterranean. We wouldn't have stopped at the Brazilian, only because, you know, we wouldn't have risked that type of money, the $10 to get the lamb and the $10 to get the steak, thinking that maybe it won't come out right. Let me know if you plan on trying SeaWorld's food festival. It does end soon, but I'm sure they're going to do another one during the summertime. And thank you for watching, and I'll comment down below if you've done this, if you had a better time than I did with these food items, with most of the food items. And I'll see you next time. Bye.